All right, listen up. Forget everything you think you know. This isn't some academic lecture. Think of this as a deprogramming session. Welcome to your tactical briefing on Deleuze and Guattari's Anti-Oedipus. Let's get started. And boom, right out of the gate, that's the core of it. That's the shot across the bow. The central idea here is that the systems we've been given to understand ourselves are fundamentally broken and that our deepest desires, well, they've been hijacked. So what's our objective? What are we actually doing here? This isn't just about understanding some dense, complicated philosophy. No, this whole explainer is a mission. We are here to arm you with the intellectual weapons you need to start dismantling your own psychological conditioning. Let's be crystal clear on this. The goal has two parts. First, you've got to identify and neutralize what they call the Oedipal virus. That's the deep-seated programming that tells you all your desires are just a messy family problem. And second, you're going to take that same desire, flip the script, and turn it into a weapon for your own liberation. Okay. Our first target, the primary system of control. Before we can even talk about freedom, we have to identify the prison. And Deleuze and Guattari, they call it the Oedipus cage. So check this out, because this is where they really reframe the whole thing. On the left, you've got Freud's neat little triangle, mommy, daddy, me. He presents this as the universal drama that defines your whole psychic life. But D&G say, hold on, that's not a discovery, that's a trap. The real function of this cage, on the right, is to be a training ground. It's boot camp that preps you for your role in the bigger machine of capitalism by shrinking your huge, cosmic desires into a tiny, manageable, little domestic soap opera. So the takeaway here is pretty huge. If Oedipus is a cage, then psychoanalysis isn't the key to unlock it, it's the guard. They see it as a form of counterinsurgency, a kind of police action taken against the wild, untamed forces of your own desire, designed to force them right back into that pre-approved family drama. All right, so we've identified the enemy's main weapon. Now let's talk about ours. To break free, you have to understand the true nature of the very thing they are desperately trying to control, your desire. This right here is the absolute core concept, a real game changer. We're all taught to think of desire as a lack, right? A hole inside of us we need to fill. We want something we don't have. Well, D&G flip this completely. They say desire isn't a void, it's a force. It's a factory, constantly producing, constantly creating, and constantly making connections. Your unconscious isn't a theater for replaying old dramas. It's a factory floor, humming with production. And what this means is that you are that factory. Every part of you, your brain, your guts, your heart, is a desiring machine. You're like a walking fleshborg, always producing flows. Flows of energy, of sex, of data, of dreams. Even flows of shit. It never stops. And these machines, they're built to connect, to plug into other machines. And this isn't symbolic, they mean it literally functionally. A mouth connects to a breast, sure, but a mind connects to an ideology. Your ambition plugs right into the stock market. Heck, even your trauma isn't just a wound. It's a connection. It's one of the ways you're wired into the very fabric of the world. So if desire is this productive flow, then what is neurosis? What's mental illness? It's simple. It's a blockage. It's a dam. When these flows get dammed up, when the connections get severed, that's when the pressure builds. That's suffering. The goal isn't to interpret the blockage, it's to get things flowing again. Okay, now let's zoom out. We're pulling back from the individual mind to the massive system that organizes all of us. Because these flows of desire, they don't just get blocked by accident. Oh no, they are managed, manipulated, and controlled by a much bigger enemy. So here's a quick history lesson on controlling desire. In what they call primitive societies, desire is coded. It's locked down by strict rituals and taboos. Then, in despotic empires, desire gets overcoded by a single central figure, the king or god, who dictates what everything means. But capitalism does something brand new. It decodes everything. It shatters all the old codes of tradition and religion, only to immediately recode all that liberated desire with one single new logic, the market. And that is the central paradox, the big trick. Capitalism feels free because it breaks the old rules. It tells you, hey, you can desire anything you want. But that freedom is an illusion. It only liberates your desire just enough so it can be captured more effectively, repackaged, and sold right back to you. So the bottom line is nothing escapes. You want to be a rebel? Fantastic. Here's a Che Guevara t-shirt for $29.99. You want to express your unique identity? We've got 1,000 consumer products to help you do it. Every act of defiance, every flow of desire is eventually rerouted, turned into a commodity, and stamped with a price tag.
So, if the cage is Oedipus and the enemy is capitalism, what's our strategy for escape? D&G propose a counter tactic, a kind of anti-therapy they call schizoanalysis. You could think of it as a blowtorch to the psyche.
Now, this is a very provocative idea, so let's be super clear. They are not talking about clinical schizophrenia. They use the schizo as a model, a figure, for a revolutionary process. The schizo is the one whose desires have broken free from all the codes: Oedipus, capitalism, you name it. They don't see the world in pre-approved categories. They see the raw flows of desire underneath it all. They're a glitch in the matrix. Which leads us to a really fundamental question. If schizoanalysis is all about burning the maps, all the codes, structures, and organizations that have been forced on you, what's left in the ashes? What's underneath it all?
This brings us to their most famous and probably their most difficult concept, the body without organs, or BWO. Try to think of it less as a body and more as an open landscape before any roads or cities are built. It's the smooth, uncoded surface of pure potential, the 0 point where any connection, any flow, is possible before society tells it where to go. But, and this is a huge but, this process is extremely dangerous. Pushing toward your BWO is not about blissful freedom. It is a tightrope walk. You push too far, too fast, you don't get liberated. You become what they call a drooling death spiral. You can even become a fascist, desiring your own destruction. The goal is not chaos for chaos's sake. The goal is a productive insanity, carefully constructing a new way of being, one connection at a time.
Okay, let's consolidate the intelligence. We've identified the threat, we understand our weapon, and we've outlined the strategy. Now for the final orders. This is about turning all this theory into action. Here it is, the entire conflict on a single slide. The threat is the Oedipus cage. Our weapon is understanding desire, this production. The threat is capitalist recoding. Our weapon is schizoanalysis. The ultimate threat is fascist desire, that desire for our own repression, and our weapon against it is the careful, deliberate construction of a body without organs. Okay, let's run through the key intel one last time, rapid fire. Desire produces reality, it's not a lack. Oedipus is a mind prison. You're a machine designed to connect. A blockage is death. Capitalism monetizes every part of you. The schizo is a model for liberation. And your unconscious is a factory, not a stage. Got it? And that leaves us with the final command. It's not a neat conclusion, it's a challenge. What does it really mean to destroy the psychological maps you've been given and to become the productive, creative, revolutionary force of desire itself? That's the mission. Briefing complete.